Hello and welcome to Coming Home with Mama T. I'm your host, Tiara, aka Mama T. And on this podcast, we explore the journey of creating the life of our desires through mastering manifestation, maintaining a positive mindset, and living luxuriously. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Elise Nicole Kirkpatrick. She is a feminine authenticity and embodiment mentor. And I'm really excited to just jump into her story, hear a little bit more about her work and how it can support you. So, Elise, can you give us a little intro and talk more about what you do?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, sister. And I'm so excited to be here. As you mentioned, I am an internationally praised and highly rated motivational mentor. I am wildly passionate about supporting women in reclaiming and really restoring their relationship to their magnetism through the feminine essence. And I just honestly, when I was looking at your podcast and listening to some of your episodes on your podcast, I was so excited to talk to you because it feels like our kind of audience, the listeners that you have, are the kind of women that would sit in a round circle with us and share and resonate with a lot of what we can talk about here. So I'm so excited to be here. And I hope that this episode can help women to tap into that most radiant expression and know that whatever their magnificent gifts are that they have as multi-passionate people, multi-passionate women, they can use those gifts to really embody a life that's pleasurable and fun and playful and abundant. So thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for being here. So, I guess where I want to start is can you tell us a little bit about your journey in coming to that abundant space?
Yeah, absolutely. So, my journey is a whole roller coaster of emotions. And I grew up in a household where when something was going on, my mom or my grandmother would always be like, well, go talk to your guides, go talk to your angels, see what you can figure out. I'm no stranger to cards as tools of divination. I'm no stranger to dowsing tools. It's been something that's kind of been in my peripheral my entire existence. And when I graduated high school, I actually joined the United States Coast Guard and was uh, totally on a whim. I was like, I'm going to join the Coast Guard and I'm going to move to Hawaii.
I
And
love it.
if you decide to join the military, you could be sent anywhere. You
Mhm.
really don't have a choice. But I held that intention the whole 8 weeks of boot camp. I remember my company commanders always joking that I was the hippie in, because that's what they could call me,
Yeah.
that I was the hippie in our boot camp company. And I'll never forget the moment that we're all standing on the parade field and the company commander says, Seaman Recruit Kirkpatrick. I was like, sir, yes, sir. And he's like, where do you think you're going, little miss? And I was so bold about it. And I was like, Honolulu, Hawaii, sir. And he's like, you bet your ass you are. And it was so cool. So I actually lived in Hawaii for 12 years.
Oh,
Six of them were in the Coast Guard and then ended up staying because I had built a beautiful conscious community there, living and working on an organic farm, into yoga and meditation and all things just magic. And I ended up meeting my children's father, having two kiddos, and just still kind of like living that luscious, beautiful island lifestyle. And then he also was in the Coast Guard and he got stationed in Northern California in a place that is very isolated and has some interesting energy. And while I was there, I ended up we were living in our RV at the time because I'm such a gypsy and wanted to travel just everywhere I could with the kids. So we had two kiddos under 3 and two puppies under 6 months living in a tiny 33-foot RV. And my nervous system went into overdrive and I had my first panic attack.
wow.
And what we were saying before we hit record is I felt like I was going crazy. I felt like I was dying. I couldn't figure out what was happening. And I ended up asking my partner at the time to take me to the hospital. They were like, "Did you take any drugs?"
Of course.
I was like, "No." And then, of course, they tried to give me drugs,
Mm,
opioids, to try to help calm my nervous system, which I refused. And I ended up having my mama come to the rescue and come pick me and the kids and the puppies up. And we went back to my home state of Texas, where I pretty much had to learn how to live again. There
mhm.
was a couple of months where I was afraid to step outside by myself. I was afraid to drive a car. I had my sweet parents. I was in my early 30s and I had my parents literally carpooling me to and from therapist appointments. And I decided that I had to reclaim my life.
Mhm.
And I also decided that, okay, I know I'm an empath. I know that I feel so much. And I know that this world is really busy and we live in a highly stimulating society. So if I'm making it through this for my kids and for myself, I'm going to have to reclaim my sovereignty and learn how to heal my nervous system, learn how to heal my brain, and learn how to really embolden myself even though I feel so much. So
Mhm.
I spent many months healing that and holistically healing my gut microbiome. That's when I really started to learn about like gut health and brain health and how it works together, and mindset, even though those were things that were already kind of in my realm before. They were like fun and exciting. Now they were, my life depended on it.
Right.
And so yeah, I lived there in Texas for about 10 months before deciding to move up here to Colorado. And in that chapter, I started to really turn to cards of divination, oracle cards, tarot cards for myself. I was teaching yoga again, which sometimes in the middle of teaching a yoga class, I'd have all my students in a position, an asana, and I would feel a panic attack coming on. So it was like in the moment, I had to figure it out. But the oracle cards gave me an opportunity to tap into my intuition, myself as a embodied guide,
Mhm.
right? And using that empathic gift that I have. And so I really started to channel all of my energy into holding space with my intuitive gifts. And it was oracle card readings and pendulum readings, chakra readings, Reiki. I mean, you name it, I studied it more than you can imagine, and got really familiar with how to help others through crises, how to help
Mhm.
others through traumatic experiences, how to help others know themselves better. I have a tattoo on my wrist called, it says, "No se te ipsum," and that means know thyself. It's like, I got it tattooed when I was 18. Who knew it would be the thing that I needed,
Oh,
right?
it's beautiful.
So, yeah, since then, I have held space for over 2,000 oracle card readings, intuitive readings, energetic womb work, energetic trauma clearings. And just 2 years ago, I decided that I wanted to help others on this path as well. And I released a mastery level course to help people do that. So here I am, fully embodied, and I feel so good right now. I have done so much work to be able to feel bold in my soul and to really claim these gifts instead of letting them, make me feel like I'm crazy. So that's
Oh
my
man,
story.
that is such an amazing, amazing journey. And I love the feeling bold in your soul. Like that statement feels, it resonates so well with me. I find for myself in my own personal journey, a lot of people that I connect with as well are in this like kind of people pleasing and this how am I going to be accepted and how am I going to be perceived by others? And the idea of being bold and who we authentically are and really listening to our gifts rather than listening to whether or not, we're going to be accepted by everyone in society is so poignant. It's just a potent way to look at life and live life. So with that, how can you talk a little bit about becoming and how people can like really step into that embodiment space?
Yes, absolutely. And I love that you said it's so poignant because that is how it feels. It feels like an elixir, right? Like once you have these tools, it's like, I have the elixir for life. Especially
Yes.
as, a highly sensitive person who feels it all. But one of the things that I really love about myself and, as an authenticity and embodiment mentor, I like to say is you have to give yourself permission to be all of you.
Mhm.
And just like you said, sister, like not based on what the world wants you to be or thinks you should be. So before I tell you a little bit about becoming, this is kind of a fun tidbit. I am a total, what I like to call mystic cowgirl. I ride horses. I grew up on a ranch. I have the state championship for country swing dance here in Colorado
Oh,
with
I
my
love it.
boyfriend Tyler. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing that I want people to know is like you don't have to fit into a box. You get to be that multifaceted, multi-passionate person, and you get to draw from all those experiences to allow yourself to be your unique essence, which is so magnetic for the right people for you. And we go into that in becoming. So 12 weeks, it's 10 modules. And we start in the first 3 modules with you. Who are you without trying to people please? Who are you without thinking of who the world thinks you should be or what you should look like or how you should move or how you should speak? Who are you? Right? And we get into self-care for an intuitive. Like, what does it mean to really take it seriously to care for yourself if you're going to start regularly tapping into your gift? We have to start with the basics of self-care. And everybody's like, Elise, that's so elementary. But by the end of the 12 weeks, everybody's like, thank goodness I did those first 12 pages in the workbook and really, tapped into my self-care daily, because it's wild how many intuitives are out there that are feeling like overwhelmed. And
Mhm.
I'm like, did you eat today? Right? Are you
That's
taking
right.
care? Did you get good sleep? Are you trying to do all these rituals in your daytime and your ceremonies and tap into your intuitive gifts and you're maybe not grounded? Did you put your feet on the earth this morning? You
Mhm.
know? So that's module 1. Module 2, we go into your wilderness experiences and your expanders. What put you in the position that you're in today that you get to celebrate? Some people like to call that trauma. There's some people that just have some big experiences or situations they've been through. Those things are here to mold us. And I wouldn't be, as you just heard in my story, the woman I am today without what happened to me,
Right.
right? So that was like divine guidance being like, here, Elise, I'm going to put you on this path so that you know what this feels like so you can support others who may have a similar path. And those are what Brene Brown calls your wilderness experiences. And so we go into that. We go into your expanders. And I invite your listeners to really ask yourself these questions. Get a piece of paper out and just bullet point. What have been wilderness experiences for you? When did you feel like you were thrown into the wilderness with no tools for survival and you had to figure it out? And the only person you had to turn to was you and your guides, you
Mhm.
and your intuition, you and Great Spirit, right?
Right.
No one's coming to rescue you. You have to decide that your life is worth pulling your bootstraps up and making things happen because you are worth it. And that's your wilderness experience. And many of us have many of them,
Oh yeah.
right? So, and then your expanders, if you're taking notes and bullet pointing with us here, your expanders are going to be not just people who positively impacted your life, but anybody who changed the trajectory of how you perceive life. So for me, I've got this beautiful goddess that's a dear friend of mine who is just like the most positive, most uplifting, most grounded, most magical woman. And then I also have my children's father who put me through hell, right? But like in both of those situations, with both of those expanders, I learned who I was. So they expanded my soul, they expanded my perception of life and how I want to show up.
Mm.
So we get into the nitty gritty of that because it leads us into the next module, which is really about understanding what your signature essence medicine on this planet is. And it's so cool how it just builds on itself. And we get to understand, like, okay, these are my soul gifts. This is what I'm good at. This is what comes naturally to me. This is what excites me. But, you know, I play guitar, but music and being a musician and putting out albums, that's not my signature essence medicine, but it's a
Mm.
soul gift of mine. So we get to understand the difference of, okay, what is a gift of yours and what has been brewing in your soul as like, I am ready to share this as medicine for the world. And that's how we decipher that.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah, it's important because a lot of people say, "Oh, sharing your soul gifts in the world," but then it's like, "But I have so many soul gifts. You know, I'm good at doing dishes." But I'm not going to be doing dishes for my medicine in the world, right?
Right.
So then that's kind of the first piece of it, the first three modules. And then the second, you know, the second part of it, the next three modules are going into actually launching a business. Okay, how do we get into the strategy, the structure, the masculine essence of business where we have a website, here's our marketing, our messaging, here's how you take payments, here's how you find clients, here's how you keep clients, client retention, right? And all of the things that a lot of intuitives, we just want to be like, no, I want someone else to just do it for me. But it's
Hmm.
empowering to know how to do it yourself, like financials and, you know, licensing and insurance and all of that, which is really important as an intuitive guide because you're coaching people and you're changing their lives, right? And then the last pieces of it are really about your magnetism. All right, now I know who I am. I know what my signature essence medicine is. I know what I want to share with the world and how I want to help people. What's my magic? I know how to, now I have this structure. I know how to take on clients. I'm ready to have that divine compensation exchange. And then now let's turn up my magnetism. Let's play a little. And so we go into sacred communication, the art of holding space, and magnetism in your messaging, and some social media things, as well as some bonus modules, meditations, and like learning pendulum work and how to play with cards with clients and all the good stuff. So it's pretty powerful stuff.
Oh
And I
yeah.
don't think I've explained it in depth like that in a minute. So thank you.
Well, it sounded like perfection. So it's such a fun, amazing journey. So definitely, like, if anyone is interested in becoming, how can they find it and sign up? I'm definitely going to put a link in the show notes, of course, but in case you're
Yeah,
just looking
love
to.
it. Yeah. So My Instagram bio link, I feel like everybody says that, link in bio. You can come find me on Instagram. It's definitely in the link in my bio. Otherwise, my website is EliseNicoleKirkpatrick.com. You'll find it there under courses, along with, I have some workshops that are not 12 weeks. So if you just want to dip your toes in, I have Embody Your Desires, Accelerator, which is a 3-day self-paced workshop. It's actually the prerequisite to becoming and is super powerful. And if you want to just get a feel for what my teaching style is like, you also can go take advantage of the free Worthy Woman visualization meditation. And
Mm.
that'll kind of put you in the queue for me seeing like, hey, let's get to know each other. And through that, you're going to have links to becoming that come into your inbox and whatnot. So, yeah, but the easiest way, just go to my website, look under the courses, and you'll see Becoming Journey of the Intuitive 12-week mastery level course spelled out right there for you.
Beautiful. So for someone who is just starting their journey, they're like, I think I have intuitive gifts, but I don't even know. Like, what would you say is like the number one thing that they can tap into like right now to really start opening themselves up?
Such a great question. I would say that the thing that I really love to encourage my new intuitives to step into is being your own best guide. Really setting time every day to be in sacred intention, in sacred effort, to create space for whatever it is that you feel like is your intuitive gift. You know, whether that's speaking with animals intuitively, or playing crystal bowls, or cards, or pendulum work, or whatever it is, womb work. Do it for yourself and your immediate friends and family to start to explore your style, what works for you, and how to listen. Inside of the workbook for Becoming, we go over kind of here's how you uniquely hear your intuition. Here's how you typically respond to it, right? We go over invocation creation, where you get to learn who are even your guides. What do
Mhm.
they mean to you, right? So I always say build out your own offering for yourself first, because that's going to be the mirror of who your best clients are going to be anyway. So let yourself be your own beloved client for 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, until you're like, all right, I got this. I understand how to listen. I understand how I feel. I know what my clear senses are. And now I'm ready to take this into the world.
That is so powerful. I love that. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. And so we're going to switch gears a little bit. One of the things that I want to bring forward, and in alignment with the practicing and in terms of the play, is how I like to see it, as playing with our gifts and how we bring them into the world. I would like to offer a little Reiki session for you and our listeners. And based off of this conversation, really set the intention of really being open to hearing our own inner voice, our own intuition, and trusting in that. So, just taking a moment to come in to peace, closing our eyes, getting comfy cozy, as I like to say, whether it's crisscross applesauce, laying down if it's safe to do so, closing our eyes if it's safe to do so, and just taking a deep breath in and out, dropping into resonance and connection with each other, connecting with the self, knowing and trusting that there is nothing to do in this moment. We are safe and secure, divinely held and guided. And I want you to envision yourself sitting in a box. It's dark, quiet, just you and your thoughts. And as you're sitting, you get to ask yourself, who am I? Who am I? And what medicine do I want to bring to this world? You allow yourself space to listen, hear, see, feel, smell, taste. Giving yourself space to go on a journey to the self, a journey home. Connecting in with your guides. Being open to receiving information. Doesn't all have to flow in at once, but knowing that you have this space that you can tap into to connect, to learn, to understand, and grow. You are open to learning the deepest parts of you, your gifts, your purpose, your soul-led space to grow. This is your connection space, your heart space, your home. And whenever you're ready, you can look up to the top of this box, see a string of light coming in from the seam, and using your hands, push the flaps open and stand up into this beautiful, bright world that we're living in, full of so many different experiences we get to choose to participate in along the way. But also remembering that we can always come home to explore and learn within ourselves, to define and align with who we truly want to be. Allow it to embody and integrate so we can bring that with us on our journey. This beautiful life's journey, full of magic, joy, and love. And if you're ready, feel free to come back into the body, wiggling your fingers and your toes, blinking open your eyes. And thank you so much for being in this space, connecting in with self, myself, and Elise, this magical, wonderful experience.
Aho.
So
That was
it
beautiful.
is.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Elise, for joining us today. Is there anything else that you would like to share before we hop off?
No, I just invite anyone who's listening to come over and make friends. I am the kind of woman who likes to take relationship off of social media and really get to know people. So if you do come over to my Instagram, it's Elise Nicole. You'll see me. And please say hi. Let me know where you're coming from. Tell me about yourself so I can celebrate you. And Yeah, thank you, sister, for having me. And thank you for letting me tell my story.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Everyone who is interested, feel free to take a look at the show notes. All the links will be provided for you there. And until next time, love you so much. Mwah.